Okay, made it. All right. Good. It's taken a while. I'm not sure what happened there, folks. I've been live on Instagram now already for a few minutes and trying to get in here to YouTube. So glad to see you. If you're joining us, thank you so much. Jared Palanzi has made a $15 contribution. Says, good morning, Loren, from Boston, Massachusetts. Just a little something to help out Tanglewood and to thank you for keeping me on the path. Forever grateful. Thank you so much, Jared. I really appreciate that. I am grateful to you as well for your support, kindness, always kind comments. I'm glad you're here. All right, Christina Thomas. Good morning, Loren. Thank you so much for all the invaluable content that you present. It's been so helpful to me on my short journey. Hope to visit one day soon. And she has made a $10 contribution. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I hope, too, that you're able to join us sometime soon. I promise you it will be an amazing thing. I should tell you, I've been saying this for years, that we're usually busy. You want to book in advance. This was the first session where we literally don't have. I mean, there will be times later on where we may have like a week here and there, but we're pretty much 100% full. Up until now, we have a bunch of folks leaving next weekend as they finish their 4-week process, and a bunch of all those spaces being filled. So if you still want to come this session, where there's very little space left, there may be 2 or 3 weeks at the end, there may be 4 weeks at the end, but I'm not so sure about that. But you can certainly complete an application or let me know. Do that as soon as you can, because we're definitely going to have very little space left. We're booking people every day up until now. And now, again, for the next foreseeable future, I'm pretty sure we're all done. We had a guy who called the other day and said he wanted to come. He'd get back. I was like, do it quickly. It's too late now. If you're listening, Steve, we no longer have that space you wanted. Maybe later on. All right. Okay, let's see here. So there's a question here from Edo10. Hello, Loren. Can fasting help for eliminating extra skin from old extra fat overweight? Yeah. So what's happened here sounds like you had been overweight. You had a bunch of loose skin as a result of that, and you're wondering if you can now eliminate that extra skin. You can. What needs to happen is you need to get your body hydrated. Okay, that extra skin exists because you've lost enough elasticity in your skin. And so the key for you is going to be regaining that elasticity. And then with fat, which happens as a result of fasting. So if you fast long enough, you clean the garbage out, you rehydrate the body, and then you regain the elasticity, you should be able to eliminate most of that excess skin. Kurt has said, early question, and thank you for your patience. Let me, I hate to change this, but in answering the same questions every week, but as a relatively healthy individual, what's a good short length of time to water fast? Is there a minimum length of time that is effective? Well, if you've never fasted before, you would probably find a week to be powerful. I mean, we do a 1-week process. It's 5 days fasting, 2 days refeeding. People benefit from that. The question is, how much benefit do you want? Being a relatively healthy individual, frankly, doesn't mean very much. I mean, I'll guarantee you can take your health to a much higher level than you probably ever thought possible. And to do that, you want to fast at least 21 days. And this is why 98, 99% of my clients fast for 21 days or more. I don't recommend doing less than that, because that's life-changing. And anything less than that, simply not. I mean, it's not long enough to get the amazing results you can get when you go long enough. So you can fast for 5 days or 11. If you fast with me, we book by the week. So a 1-week fast allows for 5 days. A 2-week process allows for 11 days fasting, 3 days refeeding. A 3-week process allows for 16 days fasting, but it takes 10 or 11 days to be fully into the deepest part of the process. So if you fast 11 days, you're just getting started. If you fast 16, you've got 5 or 6 days in that part of the process. If you do 21, which is a 4-week process, you've got twice as much time in the deepest part of the process. It's way more powerful. If you do a 5-week process, you've got 26 days. It's 3 times more time in the deepest part of the process than if you did simply 16. So, my recommendation would be to do at least 21 days. That's a 4-week process. It's amazing what happens every single time. It's life changing for virtually everybody. Okay, it's going to be a life-changing thing. All right, Saba Tierra, hello there. Hi, Loren, greetings from Chile. Why does a person gain weight on a fruitarian diet doing detox? Well, not everyone does gain weight on a fruitarian diet. Some people do. Each case is different. I'd have to know what someone's eating. Assuming, you're very welcome, Kurt, assuming that you're not overeating or eating a bunch of dried fruit or nuts and things like that, which no one should be consuming. I mean, dried fruit, really not at all. Although, I mean, I'll use it a couple times a year when I'm doing special recipes for other people, not for myself. I don't normally eat it. Nuts and seeds, same, very, very infrequently. They're too high in fat, too high in protein, and lots of calories. So if you're overeating those kinds of things, or overeating in general, you could be gaining excess weight. But most likely what's happening is you're rehydrating stuff in your intestine, but never enough to actually get rid of it, okay? And the key, of course, is to fast long enough and properly to actually clean out the garbage, something you need to have experienced guidance to do, all right? Not any fruit or dried fruit. What do you mean not any fruit? You mean not any nuts? I hope you don't mean you're not eating any fruit. You should be eating fruit. Not any nuts or dried fruit. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. You're rehydrating old material. I mean, the key for you is going to be to fast long enough and properly. Okay, let me guide you through a process. I'll guarantee you in writing, you take assuming you can follow coaching. It's so frustrating. I have a guy this morning complaining to me. It's a super nice guy. He's got all these problems. He's got this hard material he can't get out of his system. He can't eliminate. Every single day for the last 3 weeks, I've said to him, what are you doing? You're going to wind up in the hospital. You're not drinking enough water. Okay. And I can't control that. If someone's not willing to do what they need to do, they can wind up in serious trouble. I have no control over that. Everybody has to take responsibility for themselves. I'm giving them the advice. I don't know what else to do for them except to tell them what they need to hear, but they're not willing to do it. That's what's going on with this guy. Okay, so if you do what you need to do, you're going to see amazing things happen. If you fast long enough and properly, you need someone who truly understands the process to guide you through the process. Okay, it's an incredible life-changing thing that happens when you do that. Owning with Hovind. Okay, good to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Much love to you too. Okay, so I've got lots of questions over here on YouTube. Let me see here. Where were we? I'm going to scroll back up. Boris Davidovich, hi Loren, do you think it's possible to live without food? Not for very long. I mean, I understand what you're asking. There are people who claim to be breatharians. Most of those people have been shown to be dishonest. Okay, that they can't actually do what they say they do. That's true for Jasmine. That's true for the various American teachers that I know. There's Wally, somebody. There's a guy, I can't remember his name, who's out there now who wears these robes, and black guy with long hair, and he speaks spiritually, in that type of tone, etc. And claims to be celibate, and several women claim that he's tried to hook up with them. And a friend who he stayed with for months says he ate every day while he pretends he's a breatharian. Maybe it's possible somehow, but why would anyone do that? Okay, we have developed digestive tracts. We can connect to all of nature, which is what spirituality is, realizing our connection with each other and everything else. We can feel and function amazingly well. We can have tons of vitality, tons of energy, mental clarity. We can have all of that eating the diet that our bodies were intended to eat. I don't understand the benefit of not eating. And the only person I've seen who may actually be doing that They claim, this is an old Indian guy, they claim they've been watching him for 20 plus years. He doesn't eat. His arms and legs are like toothpicks. Okay, I want to spend my time being physically active, enjoying my body. We can't be as healthy as possible unless our body's physically healthy, and it needs food. It's a physical organism. Okay, now again, maybe there's some way we can they say, or you can live on prana and sunlight. Okay, where's an example of that? Who doesn't have toothpicks for arms and legs? I don't want that. I want a body that actually works. Okay, I don't think that's happening without food. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen any evidence of that. All right, Emilio says, good morning, Loren. I'd like to hear about fasting to completion. How many people actually finish the process, and is it worth it? It's probably not worth it for most people. Fasting to completion means you fast until your body wants food. And I mean, really, you have to understand what that even feels like. For most people, that's a 6 to 8 week process. And for some people, it's much longer than that. If you've been following me for a while, you probably already know my longest client fast was 4.5 months. He did not fast to completion. He did not get hungry. Okay. I encouraged him to break his fast. It was long enough, in my opinion. 4.5 months, 18.5 weeks. There was no hunger. Okay. This is a big guy, a lot of reserves. But again, it's theoretically, I mean, some people think this is the ideal, but not necessarily. I mean, you fast until your body doesn't need to fast anymore. And we see amazing things happen with 30-day fasts, with less time. Almost everyone can fast 30 days and probably should, but it's difficult and a lot of people don't want to. I mean, 21 days is life-changing for most people, okay? 30 days is amazing. Some people benefit from going longer than that. I have a couple people here now who wanted to do 42 days, probably aren't going to make it. And maybe they could, but they're so lean, they're going to wind up being super, super skinny. It's going to take them longer to recover. I'm just not sure that makes any sense for them or for most people. Why? What's the point of that? Okay. So Emilio, again, my advice, because fasting is something that has to be done correctly so you don't hurt yourself, so you maximize your benefit. I can guide you through the process, and I can tell you what's going to be optimal for you. I mean, with enough experience, it's not that hard to understand someone's situation and know roughly what you need to do. Most people don't need to do 42. And I'll tell people, I have people say they want to do 42, and I'll say, why? I have a woman here now who wanted to do longer than that. And I said, why? You don't need to. Okay. You're small. You don't have anything serious. I don't think that's in your best interest. Now, she chose to do it anyway, but now probably won't make it to that point. Okay. The breath. Okay. The breath. I'm not sure what you mean. That's Grace. Hello, Grace. Good to see you here. Okay. Where were we? Amir, good morning, Loren. Great to see you again. You too. Is eating lettuce with honey a good food combination? Does lettuce reduce the glycemic load of honey? What foods combine well with honey? Yes, lettuce would reduce the glycemic load of honey because it's adding water, fiber, no sugar. But what's a good combination with honey? Bees. Bees combine well with honey. Honey is for bees. Amir, I don't recommend using honey. It's not made for us. It's made for them. It's a simple carbohydrate, which jacks up your blood sugar, and we don't need it. For me, there's no reason to eat it. We're fruit eaters. It's sweet enough. Why do we need something sweeter than that? I have no interest in honey and wouldn't recommend using it personally. Okay, wouldn't recommend using it. Bud Spencer, hello there. Hi, Loren. Love your work. You do for all of us. Thank you so much. You are very, very welcome. Thank you for your kind comments. I feel so grateful to be able to be here every week, to share what I'm able to share in these live broadcasts, to be able to put out YouTube videos and share all the other content. I hope that everything I'm doing is helping people, and I'm grateful to hear that it is. All right. The breathing pattern. You should reach out to the Black Airbender and go live together. I don't think I'm going to live with the Black Airbender, but I have spoken to him. and invited him to come here. And at one point, he talked about coming to one of our fruit festivals, but that didn't happen. You both are amazing. We're so grateful for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Go live together. Okay, go live together. Thank you. Live, not live. Yeah, it's easy. Same word. I misinterpreted what you were saying there, Grace. Yeah, I mean, I'd want to experience his work before I was promoting it in any way, because I don't really know much about what he's saying. I think he talks about breatharianism though, and that I think that's bunk, and so I'm not so sure I'd want to be promoting that idea. He might have ideas about it. I seriously doubt he's been living on air. In fact, I know he's not. Okay, where are we? Super Eric says, in those 35 years you're raw. Actually, it's 30 and a half years now. 35 years ago, I made radical changes to my diet, gave up processed foods, gave up animal products, went vegan, but I didn't go raw for a few more years. I didn't go raw for a few more years because it didn't occur to me. I was trying to figure out what was natural for my body. Didn't even occur to me at the time that cooking wasn't natural. Right, so I gave up all processed stuff. I gave up all stuff that we would never eat in nature, but I was still eating whole foods like brown rice and steamed vegetables and things like that. I was making cornbread because I didn't eat regular bread anymore. No wheat, no yeast, no gluten. But I was using non-gluten flours like corn flour and some others, quinoa, I think, amaranth, if I remember correctly. It's been a long, long time since it's been more than 30 years since I gave that up. So I don't remember so well now what that was. But I did mostly cornbread. I tried all kinds of things, whatever I could find. So you said that you ate a few times cooked food. What were those foods? Well, there were all kinds of things. I mean, one of the first times was I was at a girlfriend's house and tried something her mother made. Don't remember exactly what it was. I just thought I'd try something. My body said no. I ate pizza once, and that was a huge, huge mistake. I felt terrible for a while. In fact, that happened. It was different situations. There were a couple of times I ate pizza, and again, my body did not want that stuff at all. There was something going on here that wasn't quite right. I've tried various things. I mean, bottom line is my body is much, much happier with raw food. I feel much better. I have more energy. I've got more clarity. I've got more balance when I eat as clean as possible. Where were we? Okay. Hello, Kimmy. Hi, Loren and chat. How does fasting benefit hormonal imbalance? Well, fasting allows your body, your incredible body, to balance itself as well as possible. Okay, and so that includes hormonal balance. When you fast long enough and properly, your body is able to rebalance itself as much as it can in every sense of the word. It cleans out the garbage. It allows you to finally start hydrating, and it allows you to balance out hormonal issues. And so there's no better way to get out of your body's way, to allow it to do whatever it needs to do. Kimmy, if you want to talk about that, feel free to PM me. Christina says, how far ahead can you plan a visit? I'm thinking about later this year, November, December. Also, early on in your fasting, did you have a supervised fast or did you go it alone? Thanks. Yeah, so I'll take the last part first. When I began fasting, there was no internet. It was 35 years ago, and there was no internet. So at least not available to the public. I mean, the military had it, I guess. I didn't realize there were places you could go. Our search engine back then was called the Yellow Pages. And if you went to fasting, there was nothing. So if I'd gone to the library, I probably could have found there were centers back then, more then than there are now, in fact. But I wasn't aware of that. I had a book who was written by a guy who'd been dead. By the time I found that book, the guy had been dead for, let me think, this was the late 80s, so he'd been dead for 50 plus years, 50, almost 60 years. And he was my guru at the time until I found other things. That was Arnold Ehret's book, Rational Fasting, I later was introduced to Herbert Shelton and learned much more from Shelton and his work. But I was on my own because I didn't realize I had another alternative, an option, until I'd already fasted quite a few times and felt comfortable. But I learned the hard way and don't recommend it. I mean, if you've got issues and you'd like to feel and function as well as possible now, or let's say, 6 weeks from now, we can get you there. I can help you get there, guaranteed, if you can follow my coaching. Okay, you have to be willing and able to take the coaching. If you don't do that, there could be serious issues. Okay, this is potentially dangerous if you're not doing what you need to do. All right. So, yeah. Now, how far ahead can you plan your visit? Well, we just had someone reserve for 3 years from now. And I mean, I said to him, we don't have our specific dates lined up yet, but I know we'll be open around this time. So that's fine. I want to come in that, in that time frame. Our schedule is currently posted through January 14th of 2023. We open, let me think. We have a session that ends on October 1st. We reopen, I think it's the 7th or 8th of November. I'm going to check that right now. I'll tell you in just a second. November 5th to January 14th, we have a 10-week session. So the way it works is it depends on how long your stay, which weekend we will allow you to come. We really want to, we want to book people at the beginning of the session, and then later in the session, depending on how many weeks. So we're not leaving ourselves with 1 and 2 week holes that we can't fill. Okay, we're trying to keep as full as possible while we're open, which keeps us super busy here, crazy busy. But that means we can keep our rates lower. We have a lot of fixed costs. So if we have fewer people, we need to raise our rates. If we can stay full, we can cover our rates and not need to raise our prices as often or as much. As costs go up, that's what has to happen. They go up. We're trying to avoid we're trying to keep ourselves as affordable as possible. Okay, and we're less expensive than any other real center, and we offer much more than they do. I mean, in terms of what actually is healing to you, a clean, beautiful, serene, peaceful environment. You can go to True North and be in a busy city intersection where there's traffic noise all the time, where there's televisions in every room, where there's Wi-Fi, where there's cooked food that they encourage you to eat. That's not very healthy. I mean, none of those things are good for you, but they keep people happy. They keep them occupied, and an occupied client's an easy client. Here, we're encouraging people to rest and simply be with themselves, and it's much harder to do. It's a much harder process this way, but you get a lot more benefit. I mean, dramatically more benefit, okay, by being exposed to the energy of nature. So you can absolutely book yourself for November or December. And we are booking people now for that session. We have had others already booked for that session. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. Amir says, did the one who fasted 4 to 4.5 months get fully hydrated at the end of his fast before refeeding? How much water was he drinking per day in the last week of the fast? Well, I don't remember how much water he was drinking per day because it's been a long time, but it was probably 6 liters a day. Most people do not get hydrated while fasting. That's not what I'm saying, okay? Amir, we don't expect you to get hydrated while fasting because your body's employing all the water coming in while you're fasting. So what happens is you're hydrating the old material, you're rehydrating your body to some extent, but typically what happens is the hydration happens after you eliminate the old material, the real hydration. I mean, we're seeing things shift as they're better hydrated in the body, like vision, like issues with discs and joints begin to get better while you're fasting. But when we measure hydration, we're looking at specific things, the hydration in the lean tissue, and that we don't expect to get to, where it's going to get to until you've already been eating for a while. Not even, most people, it's going to take them probably 3 to 6 months to get fully hydrated after they're done their process, not during the process like that. Okay, I hope that's clear. I hope that makes sense. All right, Erie Surfboards, hello there. All right, I'm gonna change this so I can read that a little better down at the bottom of my telephone screen. It says, sup, Loren, Safe to say humans consumed a lot more incidental dirt, grass, etc. when living in nature. I don't know if that's safe to say or not. I mean, I understand your point, but I eat out of the garden all the time. And as far as I know, don't consume any dirt or grass. It's easy to avoid eating grass, no problem. I mean, I can see grass easily. Dirt, there may be microscopic particles of dirt when I'm eating something out of the garden, like a tomato or a cucumber or lettuce, something like that. But when I see dirt on my food, I brush it off. Why would it be different if I was sleeping outside as well as eating out? I'm eating outside now. I mean, I go to the garden, pick the food and eat it. So I'm not sure that there'd be any significant difference in how much dirt or grass we were eating. I personally do my best to avoid dirt and have never had an issue. I've never accidentally eaten grass. That hasn't happened. I can't imagine why that would start happening if I was living in nature. All right, we have a super chat here. So I'm going to scroll down and take a look at that. Amy Wilson is in the house. Amy, I don't see a question or a comment. It's just a super chat. Thank you so much. Amy's made a $35 contribution. And I'm not seeing any questions or comments. If you have a question, I would be happy to respond to it for you. And if you don't, that's okay too. And your generosity is very much appreciated. Thank you. So I know not everyone can always stay. Let me say now, and I'll say this again at the end in half an hour, if you are enjoying this broadcast, and if you're finding benefit here from what I'm sharing, then please consider a couple of things. I mean, if you feel moved to help support this effort financially, that's great. You can make a super chat as well. That's very much appreciated. I realize not everyone's able to do that, and I appreciate that too. If your circumstances don't allow for that, that's okay. If they do and you're willing to help support it, fantastic. We just got one. Thank you. Martha's in the house and says, thank you so much, with another $35 contribution. Thank you so much, Martha. I truly, truly appreciate that, your ongoing generosity. The other thing that everyone can do, and this doesn't cost you anything, is give us a thumbs up here on YouTube, give it a like on Instagram, and feel free, if you like, to share the link on your page. It could be on your profile, it could be on your group, your Facebook group, you could be on your personal Facebook page or professional page, it could be on your Instagram, it could be anywhere. Okay, if you think there's value here for other people, let's get this information out there so more people see it and hear it. Okay, I mean, I'm hearing every day, even here, several people have already said in the comments, thank you so much, you've changed my life. I hear from people all the time. I know that what I'm sharing works, and this isn't simply intellectual knowledge. These aren't just ideas. They're not theories. They've been proven with more than 15,000 clients. Okay, if you're willing to actually do what you need to do, I'll guarantee you the results. That's why I can say that. I guarantee results because it really doesn't fail. I mean, I haven't seen an exception. We see some strange things sometimes, but virtually everyone is going to take their health to an amazing new level. Even if there are things that aren't going to heal, everything is going to get better, even if it doesn't heal completely. Even the person that's dying of some terminal condition is going to be able to better enjoy their life and feel better, and etc., if they're willing to make better choices. Okay, so I think there's value here for everyone. If you agree, consider the thumbs up, the like, the sharing, maybe even some support. That would be great too. All right, so Amy and Martha, thank you both so much. I truly appreciate that. Jeffrey Samansky is saying, let's see, there's certain things I can't say here. You can read the comment, but he's talking about a future booster, number 4. Listen, not what I'd recommend. It's up to you. I'm going to work my way up. Hello, Kimmy says, Loren, about how many times do you need to fast before you no longer need to use toiletries such as deodorant, toothpaste, etc.? It depends on each person. For many people, 1 time is enough. It just depends on how much garbage is in your body and how much you're able to get out, assuming it's a long enough fast. But Kimmy, honestly, the first place to start is with the first one. So, if you're ready to take it to a new level, let's get you set up for a 4-week process. That's the minimum I'd recommend. For many people, by the end of 21 days fasting and 7 days refeeding, you don't have body odor anymore. Very, very little. You don't have bad breath anymore. You don't need soap. You don't need toothpaste. You don't need deodorant. I gave all those things up 30 years ago and don't use them anymore. Occasional. Okay, if I've got something I can't get off my hands, I'll use soap. If I'm coconut oil, if I get a massage, I'll use soap to help get that off. If I'm on a farm where there's going to, if there's cattle, there's going to be a bunch of little tiny cattle ticks, I will use soap when I come back to wash those off before they burrow into my skin. That's necessary. But day to day, don't use any of those products, okay? And it's very possible that with one long enough fast, you won't need them either. Hello, Sherry. Good to see you here. Aria, Carla, nice to see you all. All right, Charlie says, hello, Loren. If someone needs 3 liters of water a day but manages to drink 2, does it mean he has to drink 4 liters the next day to rebalance, or it's more complex than that? Depends on activity levels, etc. It is indeed more complex than that. I wish I could say it would be just that easy and the thing is, your needs are always different. So even if 3 liters a day is typically what you need, it's not like you can just take one more and now you're good. First of all, you're already past that. It's hard to catch up. You're actually creating damage from dehydration. So you want to stay on top of it every single day if you can. But no, unfortunately, it's not quite that simple. All right, Sherry says, and you smelled good when we met. Well, thank you very much. Most of the women I've dated tell me I smell like fruit, like my skin smells like fruit. I don't smell that. To me, it just smells like a clean body. It smells like skin, but doesn't have any particular odor at all. Hello, Yael. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. It is Friday, which means I'm going to see you tomorrow in person. Yay. I hope you're having a good time and have accomplished everything you needed to accomplish before taking off. And I know there's a bunch of folks here that'll be happy to see you very soon. Have a good trip. Bon voyage, and whatever they say in Brazil instead of bon voyage. That I wouldn't know. Buen viaje in Espanol. Bon viaje. Something like that I can't pronounce, probably. Something like that. All right. Paulo says, guys, come on, look at Loren. He ain't look healthy at all. Why he seems stoned all the time. Okay. Well, you're certainly entitled to your opinion. Paulo says, I don't look healthy at all. We have people here my age. There's a guy here right now who is a year older than me and has tons of wrinkles on his face. I don't. My skin is soft and supple. I don't smell bad. I've got a good, healthy physique, more muscle mass than most guys, much bigger than me. Again, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're sounding a lot like a troll there, buddy. I don't think there's anything to support that. Bon viaje. That's what I said. Bon viaje. Something like that. All right. And why do I seem stoned all the time? Well, that might be because from the age of 14 to 25, I smoked enough pot to still be stoned 36 years later. But I'm actually really, really clear and pretty sharp. So nothing stoned going on here. I just happen to be laid back. Nothing stoned about me. All right. Jeffrey, hi, Loren. Any tips on how to avoid the want to eat while fasting? No, there's no way to avoid that. You're going to crave whatever's in your bloodstream. So as your body is breaking down old hard waste, you're high on life. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have those cravings. Again, honestly, Jeffrey, have guidance. Let me guide you through the process. Do it here where there's a group of people going through the process together to support each other. But you're going to have cravings no matter where you are. Okay. Queen of Dreams. What's the protocol for serious medical concerns or emergencies that occur while fasting at Tanglewood? Well, that's a very general question. First of all, there are almost no such serious medical concerns. It's very, very rare that anybody runs into any problems unless they're not doing what they need to do, in which case, usually what we're talking about is dehydration, which can cause electrolyte issues. And so the protocol is to get an electrolyte test and or get them to a hospital where they can get IV electrolytes. And that's pretty much all we've ever needed to do. I mean, there's almost nothing else. If someone falls and badly hurts themselves, we get them to a hospital. That again, you'd be shocked at how infrequently we have problems as long as people are following their coaching and doing what they need to do. It just doesn't come up. Irish Surfboard says, I listened to Arnold's rational fasting last week. Here, I'm gonna raise my phone so I can see this a little bit more easily instead of getting my head way down here. As an audible book, saw the similarities and differences between your philosophies. Are we excreting mucus through the urine while we fast? Sometimes we are. Some people pee out some mucus. Lots of people don't. I mean, there's probably a little bit going on for many people. Skytree Girl, should I wear a bra or are they bad? Is it hygienic to shave armpit hair? So hygiene doesn't have so much to say about armpit hair, about body hair. If you want to shave, it's perfectly fine. If you choose not to shave, that's okay too. Having armpit hair means a little bit more issues with underarm odor if your body's not clean. It's also how we transmit pheromones. And so some people think, there's a lot of value to leaving body hair, especially pubic hair and armpit hair, but I'm not so sure it's critically important that you do that. Where bras are not particularly good for you, although I understand there's new designs all the time. People are coming up with things. And I saw something that theoretically supports the breasts without cutting off the circulation and causing problems with the lymphatic system. Breasts are harmful and wind up, because you're not using the muscles in the chest to hold your breast up, you wind up actually with more sag over time. Now, obviously, this is much less of an issue depending on size. So if someone's relatively small-breasted, then it's much less of an issue. Obviously, the larger the breast, the more its gravity is going to play its role. So I don't know. Hello there. Good to see you, Mia. I don't know I think generally speaking, better not to wear a bra. Obviously, there are situations where having some support might be useful. Again, if you're fairly large-breasted and are running, it's going to be somewhat uncomfortable, perhaps. But generally speaking, you're better off not wearing a bra, and they're not good for you. Okay. Flyer says, could it be Crohn's if still mild bloating and 3-day constipations, but no pain or nauseousness, which I had until still cut all but fruits a year ago? I have no trust in the scammy practitioners. It's possible. Crohn's is usually, is a pretty serious condition. So if it's Crohn's, it would probably be more obvious. Again, honestly, Flyer, if it were me and I had any digestive issues, I would simply fast. Because if you fast 21 days and do it properly, those issues virtually always resolve. I mean, my clients come in with all kinds of digestive issues, and by the time they're done here, they leave digesting perfectly well, as long as they're eating what belongs in the human body. Okay, that's the key. All right. Amir says, what is the use of PI on pulse oximeter? Is it related to blood volume? PI. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're asking here. What is the use of PI percentage on pulse oximeter? The pulse oximeter measures two things. It measures the oxygen saturation in the bloodstream, and it measures your pulse. So I don't know what PI percentage is. I have no idea what you're asking there. Sorry. Your oxygen saturation, what it's doing is it's telling us, so there's a theoretical 100%. Each red blood cell, there's this theoretical amount of oxygen it could carry, and the pulse oximeter is attempting to look at what percentage of that theoretical maximum are you carrying in your bloodstream? And so, we want to see it 99, 100%, but most people are going to be 97 or 98%. Sometimes it's lower. Sometimes it's much lower. If it's below 90%, you're probably not doing very well. Raw Vegan Dude says, great to catch you live, Loren. Okay, I'm going to bring this back up so I can read it more easily. Life transforming information as always. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your kindness and generosity with those words. Again, I'm just happy to be able to share the same information that I've used to go 35 years without a day sick, to have more energy than a busload of 11-year-olds, to stay clear, to stay balanced, to stay fit and strong with relatively little effort, and to help thousands of other people accomplish the same things. Okay, even if some trolls think I look old or unhealthy or stoned, whatever. All right, let me see. Done with it says, hey, Loren, have you read the Oxford Epic Health Study? If so, what are your thoughts on it? It says vegans end up with multiple types of bone fractures long term. No, I haven't. But I mean, I'm well aware that a vegan diet is not a healthy diet. Not a healthy diet, okay? It's healthier, perhaps, than many other diets, but we are like every other species. I mean, 100% of the species in nature don't eat cooked food. Cooking food creates toxins and destroys nutrients. There's not a single valid reason why anybody should ever eat cooked food. Okay, there's a natural diet for every species. Our natural diet are the only things we're attracted to in nature in their natural state, and that's fruit and soft, tender leaves. Okay, you're not, and again, I mean, the truth is that you could find probably many raw vegans with bone density issues and many other issues. Why? Because they grew up in a toxic world and spent the first 30, 40, 50, 60 years eating garbage, eating things that don't belong in a human body. Get the body clean enough, okay? Feed it the way it should be fed, and those issues disappear every time. But vegan diets, yeah, they're often going to be pretty unhealthy. All right, Super X says people do get nausea during water fast because they drink a lot of water, and because of that, they cannot sip a lot of water. And what can you do about it? You said that it happened also at your center. Okay, people don't get nauseous because they drink a lot of water or because they sip a lot of water. That's not why they get nauseous. Let's be clear about that. It's not because of the quantity of water that people drink. Okay, people get nauseous for several reasons. They get nauseous because they are creating mucus in the sinus cavity, which drips down the throat and winds up sitting in the stomach, okay? And if you've got a bunch of mucus in the stomach when you drink water, if your stomach is sensitive enough, when you sip water, it's going to make you feel nauseous. People get nauseous because they're cleaning out the liver. They're dumping bile into the top of the small intestine, the duodenum. And again, some people are going to feel quite nauseous when the bile is in the intestine, because bile's nasty stuff, usually secreted only in the presence of dietary fat. When we're cleansing the liver, we've got all this bile dumping in there. It's not going to feel very good to many people. And we get nauseous because we're rehydrating old material and reabsorbing toxins into the bloodstream. And that alone makes some people feel nauseous. What can you do about it? You can't do it. You can sip water slowly. That's it. I mean, the slower you sip, the less of an issue it tends to be. But it's going to happen for some people. Okay, there's no way around that. I mean, the thing to understand, folks, is we're not trying to avoid symptoms while fasting. The symptoms occur because the body's cleansing and healing. So if we try to avoid the symptoms, we're preventing the body from doing what it needs to do. Our job is to allow the body to get out of its way and to allow it to do what it needs to do so that we can create an amazing level of health and vitality. That's not going to happen if we're attempting to suppress symptoms. I hope that's clear. All right. I hope that is clear. All right. Let me see how we doing. We've got a few minutes left. I'm going to keep going here. Where were we? Okay, I'm sorry. I've lost myself here. I think there we were. All right. Prior to my 1-year radical mono dual fruit only diet. I suspect ileocecal bowel issues till proper fast. Should I avoid avocado? I can. Fat inferior healing. Any guidelines for such issues? Okay, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying here, but one year radical mono dual fruit only diet. Okay, so you've been eating only mono fruit meals or 2 fruits at a time. You had ileocecal bowel issues. Should you avoid avocado? Well, I mean, if you have problems eating avocado, then you should avoid it. Avocados are wonderful foods, and there's no reason to avoid them. Fruit Mama, hello there. Nice to see you, and lots of love to you. I appreciate your presence and your loveliness. Truly Raw is here. Good to see you. I knew somebody was actually raw. You are truly raw. So yeah, I mean, avoid avocados if avocados cause issues for you. Okay, Arnold mentioned laxatives and or enemas before a fast because of water, because waste matter sitting in the colon is not good to have. Yeah, well, I mean, again, we know much more today, and studies show that colon hydrotherapy flushes out beneficial bacteria, weakens the bowel, changes the pH, and creates poorer bowel function after the fact. So I don't recommend trying to clean the garbage out. We don't need to. The body will do it while fasting or by the time, after we're refeeding. The stuff has been sitting in your body for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, however old you are. You've had stuff collecting there your whole life. It's not a problem if it sits there for another 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks. Not a problem at all. Okay, it's been there all along. Okay, your whole life. So I don't understand why it'd be an issue for it to be there a little bit longer. All right. Andreas Watts, why does my heart beat faster and get panic cravings for food after only 21 hours of water intermitting fasting? I don't know enough to answer your question. If you're not getting enough water, your pulse is going to speed up, because as your blood volume drops, if you're not getting enough water, blood volume drops. Your heart has to beat faster to get enough oxygen to your brain. That could be part of it. It could be that you're dumping toxins and stimulants into your bloodstream, which speed things up. There's not enough information here. Sorry, I can't tell you what's going on there. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back down and take the questions I haven't gotten to yet. There's a comment here about things being poison, and which it's a word I can't say, but you all know what it is. Vinoth says, during fasting, accidentally an ant went into the water you drink and you have consumed the ant. You didn't notice it. Will it disturb the fasting? Probably not. It's probably not enough to create an issue. I wouldn't worry about that. Okay. Sam Burden says, hi, Loren. I just got off of Seroquel as treatment for bipolar 2 disorder and slowly adjusting to a raw vegan diet. I have a lot of trouble with sleeping enough. Just wake up after a few hours. Any tips? Rest in the dark all night long. Go to bed at the same hour every night. Expose yourself to afternoon sunlight as the sun is going down every day. Go outside and expose your face for 10 minutes to the afternoon. Even if you can't see the sun, if there's clouds, face the sun. Expose yourself to the afternoon sky. It helps set your body clock. Do it in the morning as well. In the morning sun and the afternoon sun. Okay. Limit your use of electric lights. Do a mind dump at night. Limit your use of electric lights. Go to bed early when the sun goes down. Limit your use of electric lights. We talked about that. Mind dump. So if your mind is active before you go to sleep, write down what you're thinking about. Record it into your phone or some other device. Type it into a computer screen, whatever. And now you don't have to think about it. And then lay down and meditate laying down in bed. Okay. Thanks for your patience and answering questions. Much appreciated. You are very, very welcome. Glad to help if I can. Licht Rohkost, raw fruits, halal. Okay, hi, I'm from Germany. It says German, but I know what you mean. And live in Brazil now. You're great. I'm writing on a book about eating and growing fruit and greens, but I struggle with the nutrition factor. If we only eat fruit, have we enough? Yes, we do. Think about it this way. Every species has a digestive physiology specifically adapted for one particular diet. All they have to do, that species, is eat that diet. We need not just fruit alone without greens. No, we need fruit and greens. Okay, I don't recommend living without greens. Fruit and greens is the way to do it. Okay, you do eat those two things, and you too can be strong and fit and feel amazing. And it's 30 plus years living this way, no issues whatsoever. It works for everybody. Ari Surfboard says, I found if I find myself waking up in the middle of the night, restless, I sip water and end up falling asleep. Okay, so there's another tip for you. Sam, hopefully that's helpful to you. Let's see. Hello, Kimmy. Thanks, Loren. You're great. I'll check out your website to set something up this spring or summer. Yeah, and again, just a reminder for anybody here, I see we're down to about 5 minutes. Just a reminder that we stay really, really full. So we have almost no space left for this session, which ends on May 7th. There might be a little bit left at the end now, especially if you want a shorter stay. That we can definitely do. If you want to do, the 4 or more weeks that most of our clients do, first of all, somebody could always leave or not be able to get here. So if you want that, stay in touch with me, but sooner the better, because we're nearly out of space. But because there's almost no space left, guess what most people are doing now if they want to come? They're booking for June 11th when we open next. Okay, so if you want to come then, you're going to want to get that booked as soon as possible. And if you want to work with me remotely, which I also do, I work with people remotely. That's what my next call is every day, 10 o'clock. I've got a group of people fasting with me. This group is mostly in the US because there's an earlier call for Europeans, although right now I have some Europeans on this call as well. There's a limit to how many people I can take on a call, and that means you want to book in advance because we are often quite busy there too. I have someone who just booked for May because I told him, we're completely full. You might want to get that done sooner than later. Okay. Could the body be waking me up because it wants water? It could absolutely be waking you up because you need water. No question about it. Prana Patados. Greetings, Loren. How common, okay, let me see here. How common or uncommon is it for your clients to pass kidney stones during their stay? It's not very common. We see people pass kidney stones every once in a while, but it's not something that happens very often. Okay, every once in a while we'll see that. All right. David Navon says, is fasting less powerful as you age? No, absolutely not. Not less powerful as you age. It may be that you have more work to do as you age and get more toxic, but it doesn't get any less powerful. Not at all. Amir says, I don't have access to holistic dentists. Is removing them by regular dentists and fasting 3 to 5 days right after good enough for the body to deal with the complications? Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about when you say removing them. Do you mean, I don't know exactly what that is. Perhaps, I don't think we talked about this today, but maybe dead teeth, where you have root canals. You really want to find a holistic dentist if you can. Maybe you're talking about mercury amalgam fillings. Yeah, I mean, a regular dentist may not know the protocol to do that safely. So you probably want to find a holistic dentist, even if it means traveling somewhere. If you can, maybe you want to wait until you can get yourself somewhere else to do that. Okay, Lich Rockost Raw Fruits Halal says, thank you very much. I do the light eating process too, and I know about the factor with Christ. We need not so much nutrition from food, just from light and do the will of God. What is your saying about? Yeah, again, I don't know how much we're getting from, I definitely thrive with sunlight and wouldn't want to live ever again in a place where there isn't ample sunlight on a regular basis. But I don't think I'm going to get what I need without eating food. We don't, clearly the cleaner the body is and the better hydrated the body is, the less we need to meet our body's needs. And so I eat 1,200 calories a day and maintain my 150-pound frame. And that's without the 20 pounds of old waste that most people my age probably have in their body. Okay, I'm mostly muscle. I have a tiny frame, so my bone structure is very small. But what you see is mostly muscle mass. Okay, and I maintain that eating relatively small amounts of food. So, but in terms of God and light, I'm not sure what to tell you. I'm not religious and don't tend to think that that's what's going on there. All right. Happy spring break from Cancun. All right. Hope you're enjoying it. The Queen of Dreams. What I mean is, how difficult is it to get someone to a medical facility from your location? It's not difficult at all. We put them in a car and drive them to the closest hospital, which is 35 minutes away. During the day, there's a clinic that's open at the bottom of the mountain, 15 minutes away. At night, we're going to have to go to the public hospital about 35 minutes. And if it's not an emergency, we can take them, 90 minutes to a private hospital, which is usually going to be a higher standard of care, a little bit more comfortable for them. But again, it's very rare that we need to do this at all. Xiao, I'm not sure how to say your name. I apologize. Xio, I don't know how to pronounce that. Hi, Loren. Been vegan for 9 years. I eat cooked food. Can I just fast, or do I have to do a transition? Thank you. It's always best to transition to raw for at least a few weeks before fasting, because the cooked food is definitely more harmful and is leaving more garbage in your digestive tract. So it would be better to spend at least a few weeks eating raw if you're willing to. And of course, the key is to have experienced guidance. So, if you book with me, as soon as you've paid in full, we'll schedule a time to speak about your process, and we can talk about exactly what would work best for you. Okay? Radek, hello there. Good to see you. Super Eric says, some say human blood is 80% alkaline, 20% acidic, and therefore we should eat 80% raw and 20% cooked vegan. And this is the blue zone people diet who live past 100, your opinion. Okay, so first of all, Eric, you can't be 80% alkaline and 20% acidic, okay? Because let's say this is my bloodstream, okay? There's liquid in there. If I put in 80% alkaline and 20% acidic, depending on the pH of each of those two liquids, we're going to wind up with one liquid with one pH. It's either going to be alkaline or acid, okay? Our blood is somewhere between 7.35 and 7.45, which means it's 100% alkaline. There's nothing acidic about it, okay? It's above neutral, therefore it's alkaline. And I'm not sure what these people are talking about. Cooked food is harmful. Cooking food creates toxins and destroys nutrients. Your body responds with an immune response, digestive leukocytosis, every time you eat cooked food. There's no valid reason to ever eat cooked food, okay? It's not doing anything beneficial for you. People who live in blue zones don't live as long as they do because they eat some cooked food. They live as long as they do because they live relatively low stress lives in environments with clean air, clean water, physical activity, strong relationships, and much healthier food than most humans eat. Okay, could they do better? Absolutely. Absolutely. I live in a blue zone, and none of our neighbors are as healthy as we are. Okay, not even close. All right, no close, not even close. I mean, people are, most people my age here around us look like they could be my parents, not my siblings. They look much older than we do here. But fruits, greens, sun, water, and air with God is the key. Thank you a lot for your support. Well, I certainly agree with fruits, greens, sun, water, air, exercise, rest, emotional balance. God, I don't personally think is necessary. I mean, I have no religious practice whatsoever. I believe that there's an intelligent energy of the universe that we're part of, but I don't think of it the same way that religions do, and I have no need for that. And if that works for you, you're entitled to that. That's yours. I'm personally not interested in that. Okay, in that aspect. All right, folks, I notice here that it's after 10, which means I've got people waiting for me. So I hope you have a fantastic weekend, a great week next week. I'll be back next Friday at the same time. and look forward to seeing you then. Hope you have a fantastic week. Again, thank you all for your support once more. Okay, I got 28 thumbs up and 54 people currently here. If this is beneficial and you like this, how about giving me a thumbs up? Okay, that's helpful. Okay, it helps ratings, etc. If you're on Instagram, can you give it a like? Is this not beneficial to you? I hope so. I hope so. If you think so, please share. Thank you so much, Loren. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. You're very welcome, Kurt. You're very welcome, Fruit Mama. I appreciate all of you. I'm glad to be here with you. I hope you'll go ahead and show your appreciation. And don't forget, you can also share links so other people have access to the same life-changing information. Bye-bye, everybody. Big hug. I'll look forward to seeing you next time around. Take care. Bye-bye.